Yeah.
All right.
Silence is open.
Hey, buddy. So Ripley's going to be joining us. Hey,
love it.
Ripley. A new puppy, my friend. What's great? The first.
Oh, tried to go right for the balls. Nope. I know dogs.
She's trying to get you canceled, Jeremiah.
Yeah, dude.
You got all this heat coming in. She's like, let's. What's so funny is the first time we did the podcast, it was at my friend who lives here in these chairs, but in his other place.
Oh, okay.
So now he's like moved in.
I
and
recognized the
engaged.
mics, and I felt like this was a similar chair, but
This
I wasn't going to.
yeah.
You freaking dog, you're not going to get my bottle.
It's nonstop.
Nonstop.
It's nonstop.
She'll chill out.
She's
for
a
second.
puppy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty persistent.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's better than paying for a hotel.
Yeah, dude, heck yeah.
You know?
Especially, when you're visiting another scene, if you can crash with another friend, that's the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been my best friend since high school, freshman year.
Oh, awesome.
So he's
Heck
lived
yeah.
out here for about 12 years, and then he's engaged, and now he's like a grown-up. We're grown-up. How old are you?
33 now. It's weird.
Yeah, I just turned 34, and 34 hit me different. Like, it's like
That
middle.
hit a little different.
It's mid-30s now.
Yeah.
And
you're so close to the 35. We both are, and which is like it's a weird one to think about. You know what I mean?
And you had a kid.
Yeah.
You have a son now.
I have a son, which is that's another weird thing for me to be like, I'm a dad now, which is bizarre because I don't really feel like one. I mean, I feel more like a dad the longer he's alive and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's still like when I look in the mirror and I'm not like, I'm a dad. You know what I mean? It's like a weird kind of feeling.
How has it changed you? Like, I've heard when you have a
Yeah.
kid that it's almost like taking like the blue pill or something. Like, you see the world completely different.
You know, I don't know if it's necessarily that. I think it definitely does change you in a way where I think I'm more. It's weird. I think I'm becoming more sensitive to certain things than I was before.
Ripley.
Me being honest, and then this is so comedy, just a dog like,
Yeah. Like, how has kids change you? And there's like
Yeah.
a puppy here.
Yeah. But I think it motivates you in a very different way. Where I think before it's very singularly. It was for my wife and I. But when there's a child that you like made with another person,
Yeah.
it's a different level to push you to be like I need to do this versus like I have to make this happen now. Like
Right.
it's a different mentality. Like I definitely I've always been a hustler, but something definitely flipped internally where I was like, I got to work a little bit smarter now. I'm working really hard right now, but I got to work a little bit smarter now because there's less time in the day for me to do things.
What are some things that you changed? Just work smarter.
I think starting to say no a little bit more because I'm a yes guy all the way. I say yes to everything, and I have tried to be a team player as much as I can with all the shows and everything that I do, but I've slowly, over the years, I have stopped doing the shows that I was part of ensembles with and tried to focus more on my singular projects for kind of the next steps of my career. Also, it's good so you're not always just known as a sidekick guy.
Yeah.
'Cause you can kind of get put in that
For
that
sure.
place. Yeah.
And just be seen as that.
Sure.
And just be booked as that too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is so funny. This dog is just going to... It'll be fine, everyone. It adds to the comedy. If there was one person...
If you ever get tired of looking at Joel and I, there's a beautiful little Frenchie who really has a lot of energy. Who's just chilling with us.
I'm glad this is happening with you, though. It's the perfect person.
Oh, dude, I don't care.
But that's something I have noticed in like the big motivator, and I appreciate you even saying yes to do this again because this is your third time coming on here. But is like as comedians, and it's something that really hit me. I don't know what to do about this. Is this just what it is? You're a dad. How do we mitigate this?
You would have to put the toy.
Oh, we'd have
either
to
in a
hide
different- You'd have to hide the toy, or you'd have to put it like literally back there. But she might bring it back.
She
is the
definitely.
thing.
Oh, this is She'll just bring you, and then she'll pull it back. I guess we could just kill her. I guess maybe that's the thing we could do.
Dope.
Hey Ripley. Yeah, I don't
think
know.
she's gonna chill.
You think she'll chill?
Yeah.
Even if she just jumps up, I'm fine. It's the squeaking.
Yeah. I understand that for audio.
But
purposes.
maybe we'll
Yeah, that'll be
that.
fun.
There you go, buddy. So that's a big thing. As comedians, I mean, we're essentially like media companies now. Like the amount that's like put on us of like, okay, writing and refining your stand-up.
Yeah.
Booking shows. Okay, now you need to be creating content and distributing that content and marketing yourself. There's a lot that we're expected to do now that is just part of the norm of being a comedian.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in my opinion, you're someone doing it. I can't think of, that's so funny. She just got it. I can't think of someone who's doing it at a much higher level than you. Like the amount that you're doing it's inspiring as like a fellow comic of like what's possible, but like you really are spinning a lot of plates and they're working is the other thing.
Well, thank you. That's nice of you to say. I would going off of you. You don't have to thank me for doing the show anyway. I like you a lot as a person and as a comic.
Thank you.
One thing you asked, like one of the shifts of like becoming a dad and stuff like that. I don't work with people now like as that are not like if they're not hardworking and like positive people like I literally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like something where I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's an easy thing to go. Not that I really did that much before, but I would throw every once in a while. I'd be like, yeah, they're asking me, I'll do it, but I don't really want to. If I'm not like passionate about it, I'm just like, there's no time for it. So it's like, why do it? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just like do people's things that are like I see you hustling like with your clips and everything that you do online and like around the comedy scene and stuff like that. So like I want to, you know what I mean? It's a reciprocating thing. Like I want other people to do my stuff who I'm putting out the work and they see that. Like a lot of times for like Jeremiah Wonders, I know that comics don't watch full episodes of things. But they see the clips, they know it's funny, and people will agree to do the show because they see the funny clips and they see the work that goes into editing those clips and stuff like that. So, yeah.
It's contagious too. Like the people you surround yourself with, like energy is contagious. And even as like an open micer, it's like if you're at an open mic and you're just around other comics that are there just hanging out just to get drunk and not get better and develop as comics, that's going to rub off on you the same way. If you surround yourself with comics out there hustling, being productive, then that's going to rub off on you and inspire you as well.
Oh, yeah. I always love following people who are really sharp joke writers at the Comedy Store and stuff like that because it's like, you're forced to bring it right after that. And then it also motivates you like, oh, maybe I could be writing a little bit more or something like that. I never understand the mentality of somebody who wants to go after somebody who's not good on a lineup. Like, oh, great. Now I'll really get a kill. It's like, well, let's see if you can kill after somebody who's already destroyed the room and see what you can do with your flavor and stuff like that.
Yeah, getting out of your comfort zone, which is something you said on our first interview, is like one of your favorite quotes from Del Close is like, follow the fear.
Oh, yeah.
So like, what are you currently fearing?
Having possibly a second kid. My wife has already she brought it up like last night. She is wanting to have a second baby.
Wow.
And I don't know. I'm definitely not mentally there yet. We'll see if it happens or not. I said that I want to make sure that we both really want this one. I don't want to just, obviously that's another big project to commit to.
For sure. Yeah.
But that's like personal life stuff. But comedy stuff, it's really really the things that I'm following the fear for right now is, you're acknowledging that I'm putting out a lot of stuff. I've been having some stuff that's been hitting lately, which is awesome. But I put out so much stuff that flops as well. And that I think goes with part of the fears. Like, it's cool that certain things are hitting. But those things that are hitting, there's so many things that are not at the same time that I'm literally like, I'm putting 1,000% into. Like when I put out a clip, I'm like, I'm really proud of that clip. Like I don't like to just put out content just to put out content. I think that there's like a funny reason, like, oh, this could catch on, or I like this. So most of the time, I want to say probably upwards of the 95 percentile of things that I put out are not hitting.
Wow.
But I would say those 5% are the ones that are important, that are the things that lead to the other things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that 95% people still see.
They still see.
Like scrolling, like
They
you're
scroll-
always
yeah,
in
yeah.
the feed. They may
Yeah,
not
yeah,
be
yeah.
engaging, but
I
it's
know.
like Jeremiah again.
Right,
so
right,
even if
right.
you're not engaging, it's like maybe subconsciously you're still top of mind to people.
No, that is important. That does. I mean, that definitely does go a long way. Like where there's certain people who will just be like, "This is the one thing," and it's like,
Right.
well, the chances, even just like with the internet and how it works, and like it may not even show up in people's feeds.
Exactly.
So like you can't just be like,
Yep.
I'm gonna put out one great clip a week. It's like that's just not how it works anymore.
What is your what is your workflow around content creation? Because I'll go through like stages of motivation. I was like, I'm doing it, baby. 5 times a day until we hit. And then like a week later, I was like, all right, what else? What
Right,
else?
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how to help us, Jeremiah? Like, because it seems like half the game for comedians now. And it really hit home with me when I did a show recently and a comic killed. And then he got off stage and I was like, that was a great set. He's like, yeah, but I forgot to record it, so I didn't get any clips. And I was like, comics are now thinking in stand-up as not maybe as in the moment as much as how can I record this to then post it online and not maybe focusing on the craft itself.
And I honestly think that is a dangerous approach of thinking. Like if that's your approach, then you got to be a little bit careful, because at the end of the day, you need to be working on the jokes. And if I look at it more as like when I go on the road, I do record all my sets. If I happen to capture something, that's great. I get a clip out of it. But I'm not looking like, if I end a show, I'm like, there wasn't enough clip-worthy moments. It's like there's a lot of shows that I'll have a great set that night, but then I check the tape later. It doesn't translate because I'm calling back things that were in the room and stuff like that. It's very much for that audience. But that audience had a great time, and that's my job, is like I want to make sure that audience had an amazing time and they had a little mental vacation from their problems during that hour and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a weird approach, but I think that's a very, like, I think a lot of comics are doing that now, where they're like, I got to get this clip for TikTok, or I got to get it for IG Reels or whatever, or wherever you're posting it. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think that, I think we can all focus on working on the jokes a little bit more.
And that's what I told him, because
Yeah.
this was like a newer comic. And that's when it struck me as like, oh, this like next generation of comedians, this is how they're coming up. This is how they're starting comedy, is in this like internet world of you got to record this grainy crowd work clip with terrible audio, and then throw it online as much as possible.
Yeah, they're just doing what they know. Like I was talking with somebody else, like when we were growing up, the only people who had clips were people who had full-on specials. But now you can get a great HD camera and record your own set and,
Yeah.
put your own stuff out there.
Yeah, and I told him, I was just like, just get funny, dude. Not to sound like the geezer in comedy. I mean, I've been doing it 12 years, and I think content's valuable, but I was like, dude, just be grateful you killed. Like, focus on the moment. There's going to be more shows.
Yeah.
There's going to be more clips, but like, give yourself credit. You killed, and you're new at comedy. You did great, So it's so weird to see that mindset in comedy now is not as much, getting on stage as much as possible, developing my act. It's more like, how do I broadcast myself?
Well, it's a different thing, because it's like if it's like a weird lottery ticket thing, because if you throw stuff on TikTok and it goes viral, I've seen people who start touring off of like a handful of successful videos on TikTok and stuff like that, and it's a weird thing. But the thing is, it's like you can do that and that's great, but can you sustain? Like, are those people going to be legitimately happy and excited after they leave your show?
Yes.
You don't want a turn and burn mentality where you're like, oh yeah, I saw that TikTok comic once, and like, yeah, I wouldn't see them again. My goal is like, after I headline a club, especially in a city I've never been to, is like, when is Jeremiah coming back?
Exactly.
I want to do that good of a show where and for the people, because at the level I'm at, like they still paper the rooms and stuff, like at different clubs that I go to. It's like a mixture of people who come out from podcasts, and then they'll like paper the room, and those people who maybe got free tickets or are seeing me for the very first time, my goal is to make them a fan where they're like, I'll pay for a ticket the next time, because this guy was good, and like he did his thing. Yeah.
And that's part of also, like you said, you put out content that you're excited about and that you feel good about, and you're not just spraying and praying. Like, because sometimes I feel like comics will post a clip and it's like, if this went viral, is this what you would want to be known for? You know, sometimes they're just throwing out everything. It's like, but if it pops, do you want to become that comedian?
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? It's a fine line to walk.
Yeah.
So how many times are you posting a day? Do you have like a schedule?
I usually will just do a minimum of one a day. I mean, but there's people out there who I talk to, like, if you really want to grow your following, you kind of need to be posting like at least 2 or 3 times a day, which mine's a little bit slower, like organic growth of people from podcast appearances and different stuff that I do. So it's a longer path, but I'm also like, I'm literally doing already everything I can. And I'm like, unless I had a full team of people, I wouldn't be able to do the 3. That's so much content just to put subtitles on. I wish that the internet had not trained people to like subtitles, because it's the biggest pain in the butt of all the content.
Yep.
It's literally like the most non-creative part of my job is every week slapping subtitles on something that I think is funny, and then you're second guessing yourself on the first hour in. You're like, I've watched this so many freaking times. Is this even good? Like, I guess it is. I'm like, I've already subtitled it. Let's freaking do this. You know?
Are you doing all your editing still?
I do for my clips. Yes, but I have people who that we pay for Scissor Bros to help us edit those episodes now, because it got a little bit too insane. I was doing that solo for a while, and then with Jeremiah Wonders, my buddy Gage T. Arena, he's been helping me produce that show for years, and he's been helping out with Scissor Bros editing. But basically, we'll co-edit like different things. We'll pass rounds of notes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and then it'll come back to me as like more of a finished product where I might polish a little bit, and then I'm making all the clips and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, because I've definitely seen even just like your clips are becoming more like stylized, and it's not just like a static shot, but there's movement within the editing, and there's almost like character within the actual editing. So I wasn't sure if you were doing all that or if you had started to outsource, because the output and the quality, like the quality isn't suffering even with the high output, which is so difficult to do.
Yeah, that's the goal with all this stuff. You don't want to just be starting to put out stuff where you're not happy or excited about it, where you're just like, well, I gotta post today, because like if I'm not feeling it, like, then I won't post on certain days. If I don't really have something that I like really need to do, I'm not just gonna post like something like, you know, like that's what the stories are for. They disappear. Like, hey, I'm going to the grocery store right now. Those disappear for a reason. Those are not they're not quality enough to just live somewhere where people are like, man, I remember this day a year ago when Jeremiah went to the bank. That was so cool.
Dude, I've been guilty of like posting like, I'm just creating content. I've like set it into the camera and that's it. Like,
right.
I've gotten caught in that cycle of like, well, I gotta be posting something, or else I'm never gonna, like, whatever imaginary like person's gonna kill me if I don't post today. It's a lot of pressure.
The content police, man.
Dude, I mean, it
pull you over, give you a fine.
It's kind of ridiculous. Like I've had some clips hit, and like podcast and like stand-up clips and things, but it's like, it's not to a point to where like there's that much monetizing going on. Like, it seems like you've kind of figured out, and I still don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I don't have like a voice, I feel like, or I don't think people come to my page. The podcast they do, but like my comedy, I don't think people would come to my page and then immediately be like, oh, cool, I'm here for this. You know, it's kind of still all over the place a little bit.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, it's a weird one to try to figure that out. My stuff ebbs and flows. Sometimes people are all about the podcast clips, and then other times they're all about my stand-up clips. So they're like, it kind of goes back and forth as a weird thing, like whatever is hitting that week. Like I happen to post something that did well on IG this week just because it happened like a month ago, where a drunk guy walked on stage, and I posted that a day after the Oscars thing, because I hadn't posted it yet. I was saving it. I was like, I don't know if I want to put this out. And then I was like, well, this is too perfect. Like, this is so weird. So I put that out, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I guess it's being just more thoughtful about stuff, like what I said. Like, are you actually excited about this? Is this what you want people to see? Not just content to be spewing content.
That's really good. This is really helpful in just terms of like kind of how you make your decisions. Like you said, you only like to be out around people who like hustle and are positive mindset. So it's kind of like helps you decide what you will do and what you won't do, and also help you decide what you will post and won't. Are you excited? Is this something that you feel excited about, not obligated?
Oh yeah, and I like have gotten one of my favorite things that since we're talking like why not nerdy social media stuff right now.
Yeah.
The Instagram collaborator feature, the collaboration feature is one of the best things that I've seen as far as like any platform has figured out, because the main problem with sending a clip, as you notice somebody, is like if you send me a clip for this podcast and you're like, hey, can you write something about this and this is all the info? You just click a button. You're like, and if they don't want to do it, it's not a big deal, because you're like, it's all good. Like, but like the option is there. They can at least see it, and if they want to click accept, they can.
Yeah.
But there's like, it's way less pressure to like making a full post, and it's less of an ask for somebody. Like where you're like, hey, if you want to do it, just click the button. If not, just ignore it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's been cool to work with other people, where it's like on podcast stuff where a lot of people wouldn't reshare before that feature, and now they're like, okay, yeah, I don't have to type anything up, I don't have to do anything, so that's helpful for sure.
How do you come up with so many ideas? Like, do you spend time just generating ideas?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, I mean, Scissor Bros alone, like the absurd things you guys do, like consistently. I mean, like an ice bath. We don't have to go down the list of that's like one of the tamer ones, but it's like, and then you've done this for years. I mean, coming up in Second City and even like in the groups you've been a part of and stuff. But it's like part of content creation is like the ideation. Yeah, and so you have your stamp is on your content. Like there's thought, it feels like, that goes into them to make them stand out more.
That's the goal. I mean, the whole premise behind Scissor Bros, and it's a hard show to keep recreating ideas for and stuff like that, because the longer we do it, naturally there really is so many things that we can do, like in a garage space, like where the studio is at. Like it's a confined space. You can only do so many challenges, whether it's like a physical thing or like an eating thing or a stunt thing within that space. So it's like, okay, we got to spend the time now to do a separate shoot at a different location. Like all that stuff takes a lot of time and prep and stuff like that. And luckily, I really enjoy doing it. That's, I mean, the coming up with the ideas. If you are not having fun, I don't know, you're not going to come up with the idea that you want. Like if you're not enjoying yourself and having a good time, like I really enjoy Steve, my brother, Steve Lee. Like I enjoy being around him. And even if we have to do work, we sit back all the time every once in a while when we're brainstorming or we're shooting like a dumb ad for one of our sponsors that we're grateful to have on, like Sheath Underwear right here.
Snap.
Use promo code Scissor Bros.
Holla at us, Sheath. My wife will be so proud.
Right? But we sit back like every once in a while and you're like, can you believe that we're even making any money at all doing this? We start laughing because we're like, it's hanging out with like one of your best friends and you're just riffing out ideas and stuff like that. So I'm super fortunate and grateful to do projects that with people that are fun. And the idea I still have, even though I'm not doing as many ensemble shows, I still always think of in an ensemble mentality, even with like my show Stand Up on the Spot. I'm still like, we just did a special that we did that we filmed in Houston, and I picked some of my favorite Texas comics that they haven't had stuff really shot before. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like shoot this special out of my own pocket, and it's gonna be a showcase for them and myself. And it's still like I'm getting to showcase a team of people who I think are worthy of the spotlight and that deserve a look from other people who may not know who they are. So I still kind of think in that kind of team mentality, even when I'm doing more solo stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely guilty of that still, almost like that solo mindset. Like, I guess I do stand up. It's I don't know. Like I need to be more collaborative. I feel like seeing like you've always been more collaborative, and I can see like how far you've gotten, not putting everything on your shoulders, but really surrounding yourself with inspiring people, you know? So I feel like I need to get better about collaborating, even if it's in content creation or like doing skits like you do, you know? It's, I don't know. I get in this, I don't know. It's like, I got to do it all, or it's just not going to get done, and then it ends up not getting done, you know, type deal.
Well, the greatest thing for me when I collaborate with other people is just getting another person's perspective on something because when you start talking out, like even like if I'll occasionally run by a premise by somebody or something like that, just running it by somebody who's a friend, they'll be confused by something in the setup or something like that. That's an audience. That's technically an audience member right there. They're helping you bypass a lot of work. Just being like, I don't get what do you go? Do you know what I mean? So I still like to run by things by people who are willing to listen. Like when I go on the road with friends and stuff like that, I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of this. Like, they're like, that I don't understand what you mean by that. And that saves you a lot of time where in an audience something's bombing and then you're like, I don't get why they're not connecting with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do. Comedy is getting more collaborative. That is the spirit of like the community we built at Hot Breath, especially during the pandemic when we just started this Facebook group that's now like over 5,000 comics. That's awesome. Helping each other out, you know? Yeah. So I think that is definitely the next wave, is being more collaborative, but it's almost like I need to be better about practicing also like what I preach or whatever, of like being supportive and positive, and then I'd be like, all right, but I'm not collaborating as much, I guess, you know? Mm-hmm. Except with this dog. She's so persistent.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Hey, Ripley. She's just staring. I have a pile of toys off to the side that she keeps bringing. Yeah, go look out the window.
Yeah, dude. Let's just look out the window together for a second. Sunny Los Angeles day. This is good.
It feels good. It's good to be back out here.
Yeah.
It makes you feel famous. Even
how
if you
was the
crashing
Comedy Store
on your
last night?
friend's couch. It was great.
Awesome.
It was dope. I didn't know when I was going up, so they just like said my name and I just like had to run up there type deal. So that was fun.
Gotta love that.
That was fun to, you know, be like, I'm at the Comedy Store.
I freaking hate that.
I checked my DMs after. The producer did DM me like, you're next, but I'm trying to get ready for my set. I'm not gonna be.
I'm not looking at Instagram DMs right before I go on.
Exactly. So they just said my name and I was like, oh, and I like could run up there and like, so it felt rushed, but it was fun. Like the set went well.
Dope.
Yeah, it's always just good when you talk about facing that fear, getting out of your comfort zone. It's definitely good to get out of your scene and just start performing in places you're not comfortable or familiar with, because that helps you just to grow and develop that much more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do. I'm doing chocolate sundaes on Sunday, and have you ever done chocolate sundaes at Laugh Factory?
No, it's so weird. I did. This is what's interesting about. Sometimes you're seen too early with certain things. And this wasn't a seen too early thing, but sometimes people only associate you with one thing. And that's honestly why I've stopped doing certain ensemble shows. Mm-hmm. Because, as you know, I've used my sax a lot in different comedic things. There's legitimately certain bookers that still don't know I do stand-up. And it's insane, like with the amount of output that I do and everything. That's how crazy it is sometimes, where people are like, you're a musician, right? So Chocolate Sundaes is the guy who books that. Shout out to Pookie, what up? Yeah. I brought him years ago. They were doing a Chocolate Sundae. This was, at this point, almost a decade ago. I brought him some of the best improvisers in the city they were going to shoot a Chocolate Sundae comedy special with different improvisers and sketch actors and stuff like that. And they ended up doing it. But I basically put together a showcase for him of people who I thought were really funny because I was connected in the improv scene. And we all showcased and did an audition at like his offices, and I think at the Laugh Factory or something like that. And I ran into him like a little while after. I told him, I was like, hey man, like when I was doing that, I was like, I'm a stand-up, I want to do your show. And he's like, yeah, that's great. And then like I ran into him like a few months later. He's like, how's that improv going? And I was like, and he's like, remind me for a spot. Yeah. And I called, and then like he's like, hey, how's that improv going? He just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like sometimes you're seen as something where it takes so much for people to reassociate what you do. So it's important that when you're seen early on, that's why like I'm always telling people to don't worry about like being seen at the clubs early, because people will sometimes remember those sets for a very long time. So if you're not ready, then that can hurt you pretty badly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I just stopped asking. I was like, this dude just thinks I do improv only. It's not worth my time to just be like, hey, Pookie, you want to book me at Chocolate Sundaes? I'm that white guy who keeps hitting you up for spots. I know you want a lot of that right now on Chocolate Sundaes.
Well, I mean, when I started in Atlanta, like, I just came up in the urban scene. Like, I was never cool. All right, let me move. I don't want him to yank down or her. She was about to yank down the camera.
Yeah.
I was like, that's where we'll draw the line.
Yeah, that's not a toy.
We'll draw the line there.
Is that strap in the frame, or are we good?
I'll put it back here just to be safe. It's the great thing, like, I've gotten like roasted on YouTube because in a lot of my interviews, like they'll make a point and I'll look at the camera, but I'm really looking to make sure the camera's still going. But people are like, you don't have to look in the camera, idiot. Like, what do you...
You're like, I'm getting gold right now. I want to make sure that this is still recording. I look at the camera all the time for certain things, and sometimes people don't like it. I'm just like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, maybe for this part. Yeah, okay. We got Ripley up here now, so maybe this will be good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was just saying, I came up in the urban scene in Atlanta just because I never got booked on like the cool hip shows. I guess I was just never in like the cool kid table. So I was just like, where can I get stage time? And it was always the urban rooms, because those rooms were like, they weren't political. They were literally like, are you funny or not? Or are you hustling or not? Like, it was pretty cut and dry like that. It wasn't like, but dude, I know
so-and-so, I did this.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just kind of, I think, how I
those are the most
Sundaes,
honest rooms. I love those rooms, because urban rooms are, if you're not funny, you freaking know it real quick in those rooms. And if you are, you feel like a king in those rooms.
For sure.
So I love the stakes alone of that.
Yeah, me
because
too.
going into it, like, there is a little bit like when you hit the stage in a more urban room, they're kind of like, what's this guy's deal? You know what I mean? But they do that with most comics who hit the stage. What's this person's deal? They funny? Let's see. Yo, the real star of this episode is this dog.
I feel like I'm on Scissor Bros right now.
Yeah, this is one of the challenges.
And one of the challenges is who cannot eat this dog.
Who can keep conducting a podcast interview while a dog is literally being the most ADD creature ever. Is that a toy? What's over here? Let's look out the window. Let's pull down the strap on the camera.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ripley, for making a cameo. See, I was talking about wanting to collaborate more. Look, Ripley's helping me out here.
Dude, the numbers alone for Ripley on this episode are going to be huge.
I hope so. I'm ready. I'd like something to pop. You know, I've gotten a taste here and there of like what's possible. Even in like turning on YouTube AdSense, you're like, oh, $200 this month. That's cool.
Hey, it always feels good to get even a little bit of compensation for our dream. You know what I mean? Like, even when it's these little bar gigs, if somebody throws you $20 after a set, it's never not going to feel good.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I really do enjoy. Yeah, it's still So, I don't know. Sometimes I get in my head of like sometimes I have to catch myself. It's like even last night at the Comedy Store, I was like, it was Crack 'em Up, and it was in the belly room. Mm-hmm. And so I'll still have to catch myself like, oh yeah, but it's not the OR, or oh, it's not the main room. Like I have to like, I'm just trying to be transparent of like, like a professional working comedian that I've been doing it full time is like, I still have to reframe even like, this is cool, I'm performing at the Comedy Store. I was like, but it could always be better instead of having gratitude, you know?
Yeah, I think that's you know, that's something that all of us comics do. My wife is really good about helping me with perspective on that kind of stuff, just because it's real easy to get down on yourself.
Yeah.
Because all of us could be farther along. Literally, even at the top. Even even at the top of the game, you still like. I mean, it's so overly talked about right now, and we'll quickly talk about it and move on. But like, dude, the fact that Chris Rock had to deal with a heckle at that level, the biggest stage in the world,
Right.
just goes to show you guys, it's never gonna stop. So just be grateful for what you have.
Good point. That's a really good point.
It's never gonna
dude.
stop. There's always gonna be faced with something that like, oh, this sucks, or I'm not where I want to be, or this happened to me. It shouldn't. Like, I deserve better. Like, it's literally never gonna stop. So like, get out of this business if you can't handle some licks along the way, because like, if you're not loving it, this is just not worth it, because there's so many other things that if you're happy with doing, that I always encourage people to do. Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing stand-up. I'm like, do you love this?
Yeah.
Do you, every ounce and fiber, do you absolutely, you can't see yourself doing anything else? Then do stand-up comedy. But if not, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It really isn't. If you can be happy doing something else, it's not worth it.
Because it's free for a long time.
For a very long time.
It's free for a long time.
So that's why like I'm so much about having fun and surrounding yourself with positive people, because the reality of it is a lot of us, like, for all our careers, it's going to be, you're going to struggle maybe on the longer side than the payoff side. So why would you not be having a good time and surrounding yourself with positive people and just be in the muck and mud of negativity and stuff like that, if that's going to be the main part of your life and career? So that's why I always seek out, like I said, positive people who are fun and hardworking, because I'm like, I just want to reflect what other people are doing that are positive, so why not?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Bert Kreischer is such a good example of like someone who just grinded for like decades, and then now like he's reaping what he was sowing, but like he could have very well not have as well, but it seemed like he was having fun throughout the entire process.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Being a party, life of the party.
I know we did this whole, during the pandemic, we did this whole social media campaign where it was like basically like getting Bert on hot breath, and we called it Bert Watch, and there were all these memes made of like Bert's face on Baywatch and stuff. And it actually got his attention, and he said he would do the podcast. And then he put me on a chat thread with his, like, I guess the person who books everything, and then we've just been kicking the can down the road ever since. But he's on tour. He just filmed a movie based on a story.
Yeah,
that he went viral. Like he's
filming a lot right now.
He's doing a lot.
Yeah.
So we're coming for you, Bert. But I mean, I have no doubt it'll happen. It's just funny when you're like, yeah, and everyone because like the community got behind it. People were making memes. People were when we would post something, everyone would tag him. Like, we really worked to get on his radar.
Yeah, we're trying to do that with Tom DeLonge on Scissor Bros. It's still like an ongoing joke. It's an ongoing joke that like literally continues. Like, we like kind of like our scissor siblings, like we like almost like it was almost harassment for a little while. There were so many scissor emojis on like all his posts and stuff like that. And it was just like funny because we were trying to get his eyes on this music video that we made, which is on the new Scissor Bros album, which is out right now. It's called Tom DeLonge, Where Have You Gone? And it's all about Tom DeLonge. It's like our ode to Tom and how we're fans of him and how we want to hang out. And it's like, if you listen to the lyrics, it's pretty creepy, but it comes from a good place, you know? Yeah.
Has he responded or anything?
No, but like so Steve went to high school with him. That's the weird thing about it. Like, that's why it's like, oh, it really could happen. but like he didn't respond to Bobby either. And it's like, he's not, you know what I mean? Like Bobby has even more of a reach, obviously, than Steve. And he didn't respond to Bobby to do Tiger Belly. So I'm like, that's a giant podcast. If he's not doing that, like it's gonna be pretty hard to get him to do a challenge on Scissor Bros.
Yet.
Yeah.
I could see y'all doing like a tattoo challenge with him because he's all tatted up, right?
Yeah. I think so. We did. Yes. Yeah. Steve has a Scissor Bros tattoo now, which is kind of crazy. And then we gave someone a tattoo. Dresden made on one of our episodes. Like we did scissors on him. Yeah.
Oh my! Wait, you did the tattoo?
We did it. He was cool enough. He's a professional tattoo artist. He's like, yeah, you can do a little scissor on my arm. So we free drew scissors, and then we did the tattoo. Steve and I did one half, and Steve did the other. Yeah.
That's what's something we brought up in the first interview is like Jeremiah Wonders is like it seemed like you're creating like a podcast, but with like the show of it in mind. Like this could be a TV show, you know, and it's like you've done that with Scissor Bros as well.
Yeah, the way I look at Jeremiah Wonders is it's very much like a an incubator for other projects. Like I will throw, like I've been doing stand up on the spot way longer than Jeremiah Wonders, but I will, in place of Jeremiah Wonders episodes, when we drop like a stand up on the spot special, I'll put that in the audio feed so people can listen to it as a podcast. Oh. And then it also goes out on YouTube as a special. So it's kind of like all encompassing as like, you can watch it on video just like the normal podcast, or you can listen in your car like it's a stand up album.
Does it perform as well?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the stand up on the spot specials they outperform Jeremiah Wonders big time. Mm-hmm. But that's like, it's a group collaborative effort. It's, you know, me with a few other comics versus just me and a guest who may or may not promote.
Right.
That's the thing is like some of my favorite episodes, like the guests just won't help at all. And like, it's like, well, your followers won't know it's great because like, they're not following me.
Right,
so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they share, I'm like, oh, they're going to love it. But like that's why like the amount of clips and stuff like that is also throwing the dart of not just like, will other people see it, but like, will the people who I'm working with, will they be excited enough to even share it? That's its own like set of obstacles and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing with even like producing my own shows and things is like, to get comics to share something, it's got to look super cool or like needs to make them look good
or unique and tailored to them. Yeah,
for sure.
That's what the thing is like. I feel like we're gonna have to eventually figure out something different, like with comedy flyers, because they don't work online anymore. Literally, with comedy flyers, the way that like, if you want to get real nerdy about the algorithm and stuff like that, the more text that's on something, the more it recognizes it as an ad that needs to be sponsored or paid for. So that's why you'll see somebody with 100,000 followers on Instagram post a flyer that has 200 likes on their page, because Instagram wants that person to pay to sponsor the post, even though they're literally not showing it to all their followers, because they're like, this is an ad. This is for something that they're promoting. They should pay us, so we will like hoist it up.
Oh, do you like research these platforms and like?
I'll read certain things every once in a while, like for YouTube, like they've got videos and stuff like that every once in a while. That's like, hey, like find out why this video isn't performing as well as some other videos. I'll watch that stuff every once in a while to kind of research it, because you kind of have to do part of the job is when you're doing this much like stuff is like, if something's not working, assessing the problem and working on it, just like a joke. Like you can't keep doing the same joke and expecting different results when it's the exact same joke every single time. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing. Like if you do the exact same kind of content all the time, your numbers are going to go down.
Yeah, it's almost like doing like, because our YouTube channel is doing, I mean, we're almost at 20,000 subscribers and I'm super excited about it. And
which is freaking hard to do on YouTube.
Dude. I love
so
YouTube's my favorite
hard.
though. Like I've put more research time into YouTube than anywhere. One, I mean, just because it monetizes the easiest, and it's like you can potentially reach the biggest audience, and longevity wise, I mean, YouTube just seems to be like, it's just going to be there. So it's like a great place to build a lot.
If Instagram could figure out how to catalog their stuff a little bit better, then they'd be in competition with YouTube, in my opinion. But YouTube will still remain king because you can type in and search for stuff.
Yeah, and it's like with Instagram, I don't think people consume it in like, they just scroll through your feed and go look at like old videos versus like YouTube, they may like watch all of it from the beginning. I don't know if people consume Instagram like that.
No, it's very like fleeting.
Yeah, it is. You're not as connected. Like YouTube feels like, I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out with it right now is long form interviews of us sitting here don't really perform as well as like a shorter, more like educational clip and things like that. So I'm just trying to figure out kind of the next phase of the YouTube channel. So like I'm experimenting with a lot of shorts right now and just kind of like analyzing various clips and posting some clips and just seeing what YouTube shorts will pop and then maybe making a longer video based on that topic.
Okay.
But it's all like, we're just trying our best out here, man.
Hey, man.
You know
figuring it out.
Just figuring it out in front of people.
I look into the camera. We're figuring it out,
Yeah,
people.
we're figuring it out, everyone. So I appreciate you sitting down and taking the time to do this, man. Seriously. On the day that your new album is released on Comedy, is this the first Comedy Store record they've
Comedy
released?
Store record LP. They released an EP with Rick Ingram, and then this album is like almost an hour and a half. This is their first LP. It's an hour and a half of like music and like little things that just best of moments from the podcast. But for a year, this last year, every week we have either written or improvised a new song every single episode. So we have over 80 songs now, and I could only fit 34 onto this first album. Wow. So like that's something that like, not only are we doing the challenge aspect, the real challenge creatively has been coming up with that amount of music in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited about it because it sounds really good, and the way that we laid it out, it feels like a comedy album because we kept some of the intros and outros of the podcast of us like talking about the song or like the lead up and build in. So it just feels like kind of like an old Cheech and Chong kind of record.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think something with this format would make it onto like Sirius?
That's the goal. We're pitching it. So yeah. I mean, that's definitely the goal, like to put it on some of those comedy channels because some of the songs are standalone where you don't have to know anything about the podcast and they're just funny comedy songs. And then some of them, obviously, there are more inside baseball where like you would kind of need to know a little bit more about the Scissor Bros world to kind of like get in on the joke. But there's some that I think that are just good comedy songs across the board where you could just play it and be like, oh, this is just funny.
Dude, okay. So how can people, before I ask my final question here, how can like people check out the album or like where's it at and what?
It's on all audio platforms. That is off right now. I don't know if that's
the battery was low. And I when I was packing, I had 2 batteries in the charger.
Yeah.
So we'll still have the audio going, but the video just died.
You got it.
And I'm
observant.
I left the charger in my wall at home, and I left my tripod.
Oh wow!
Like in Atlanta. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But we've got the camera. I mean, we're still good.
Yeah. All good. All good.
But the camera died.
It's on all audio platforms. So which is funny.
About audio and the video dies.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty ironic right there.
Pretty funny.
You can find it on all audio platforms. Yeah. So if you're an Apple Music person or Spotify or whatever. Yeah.
So the final thing I want to ask, and this is something like I've been married. Today's actually my 5-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
So we're gonna do like a Zoom anniversary.
I can't wait to do that with you.
You playing your saxophone in the background?
Yeah,
I can see that.
Right.
So I mean, my wife has been just beyond supportive, especially as a comedian, and there's no real like stability. There's no like, oh look, I got this paycheck every 2 weeks and here's my benefits, and like I've heard you like reference like I think your wife is in the improv world or she's done events and Comedy Store.
She's adjacent, I always say, because she teaches kids improv who are on different social and emotional learning levels. So people who are on and off the spectrum, she helps with, and she is a teacher at a charter school in LA, where she's their social and emotional learning specialist right now.
Oh, wow.
So if there's like a troublesome kid who's having issues, they kind of like send them to her to kind of help, and she helps those kids with improv and different like games and stuff like that she's developed over time. We met at Second City. So like she basically took the stuff that she learned from Second City, and then like with her own methods of like being in like getting her BA in like child development and stuff like that. She's written a couple of books and stuff like that about how improv is so important and helps expand children's brains, and also with their social skills and eye contact and everything like that. So that's what she does. So she's adjacent to it, but she's been with me since the open mic level. So she's a ride or die.
Yeah, were there any times of like, should I keep doing this, or like has it been support the whole time, and like she's been kind of like a champion to, I don't know, it's just tough. Like if you have like a spouse or just even like a significant other, like being a comedian, it's not traditional. There isn't like a set path of like, no, it's going to be fine because this clip's going to go viral, honey. I promise. You know what I mean? And it's like, I just, sometimes I want more. This is self-inflicted like pressure. She's not like, what are you doing? But I can put the pressure on myself of like, I want to be able to do more. I want to be able to provide more. But it's also like patience and have fun and gratitude and blah, 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 even though Verizon doesn't accept gratitude, you know? So it's like at a certain point, you know, you have a spouse, you want to be there, and you want to like show like this work is working, you know, but it's tough to show that sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really have a question there. I'm just using it as therapy, I guess.
I think it's more like, you know, your wife obviously loves you, and we have a different meter for success than our spouses do. If they're seeing us happy doing what we do, and you know, even if it's not at the level that we'd like to be performing at, they're going to be happy because you're making them happy. And if you're doing what you do that makes you happy, ultimately, if you found someone who loves you like that, like they're going to be supportive and champion you. There's obviously ebbs and flows of all of our careers where I think it's harder to be supportive at other times, but you know, my wife has always been amazing, and she has been incredibly supportive. Like where if I hope to win an Oscar someday or something like that, it would be just as much her Oscar as it is mine, because she helps me do freaking self-tapes and stuff like that when nobody else is around. And like, she helps me go over sides for auditions, and she has to listen to me and put up with me like on the lows, but she's also there when the highs come in too. So it's like, it's a cool partnership.
That's
you know?
great, man.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. I just love comedians and their spouses. It can be such an interesting relationship, and it's just been, I wouldn't be right here today without my wife.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I just said 100%. I was channeling Bert Kreischer there. So yeah, let's land this plane. Thank you so much for your time, man. And thank you, Ripley, for making a cameo. But before we land the plane, is there anything else you want the world to know?
Check out the new Stand Up on the Spot special that's on my YouTube page, Stand Up on the Spot Houston. And then we're going to be releasing a series of Stand Up on the Spots in the next couple months, which is really exciting, that we've been filming at the Comedy Store. So,
oh, snap.
I'm very excited about that.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Good for you. Dude, are you like trying to create your own like media company? Like your output and distribution is like, it's crazy. Are you going in that direction?
I want my own Happy Madison someday for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have the core group of people who I've been working with that I'm like, yo, if we get a legit budget for this, like we can make some amazing stuff. Like I've got like, there's a handful of people who've been helping me with this. It's like talking about collaboration. I owe some serious money someday to like the crew that I've been working with, who have been helping me with these projects, like my buddy Gage Tiarina and Chris McMillan, Keel Yulberg, and Van Corona, and guys like that who we've been shooting sketches, we've been shooting pilots that haven't been seen or that have been pitched that haven't gone anywhere, stuff like that, where it's like, we're all like betting on ourselves, and luckily it's a good core group of people that, hopefully we will get to make movies and TV shows with friends and stuff like that. That's the dream at the end of the day.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing that. Your enthusiasm is contagious, and I appreciate your refreshing perspective just on like focusing on surrounding yourself with fun people and also creating things that energize you. I think that helps with just the overall amount we're creating. Is if it's fun, it'll energize you even when it's work, like you said.
Yeah, because then it doesn't feel like work anymore.
Yeah.
If you're legitimately excited about it, then it's just like, oh, I can't wait to do this. Versus I have to do this. Comedy should never feel like I have to do this. It should be I get to do this.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this, man. Seriously,
yeah, brother. Of course.
You rock. I appreciate your time and wisdom. Go support Jeremiah. Go check out his new Scissor Bros album and check out his YouTube channel and follow him on social media. It's really, to get to sit with you and get some of the rub here it's really inspiring and energizing for me to take forward after this. So thank you so much.
Heck yeah, buddy.
All right. And thank you, Ripley, for snoring in my lap. Oh, that was great. It's fun.
Told us what you wanted.